tonight.
Pretty normal day. I think it was second period, yeah. We had a fire drill. It was normal period up until 2:20, 2:25 when the second one went off, and everyone was like a little confused.
The fight of their lives. The mass shooting that sparked a mass movement continues. Millions of people around the world take a stand against gun violence in America. We'll bring you the story of some of the students who started it all. Plus, finding the right fit.
Try to get girls to come from the community that are in these situations that couldn't otherwise afford a dress. And so we had dresses donated from tons of different girls all over the nation.
As students prepare for formals and prom, one student has struggled with finding a place to call home. We'll tell you how one organization has helped her create her Cinderella moment and a wish come true.
When I was growing up, I always knew I had a wish. You know, I love a luxurious vacation as much as the next guy, but, you know, I felt like I could put my wish to better use. And I decided, what if I could use my Make-A-Wish to make a dream of mine come true?
One student made a wish and got the education of a lifetime. Now he plans to share his fortune with others.
Hello and welcome to NewsVision. I'm Jihad Shatara.
And I'm Kate Hovan. Thank you for joining us. We're starting off tonight with the powerful stories of Marjory Stoneman Douglas shooting survivors. It's been more than 2 months since a gunman opened fire inside the high school in Parkland, Florida, and killed 17 people. But for these students, it seems like yesterday.
Absolutely, Kate. And UMTV reporter Isaiah Kim Martinez and I went to Parkland to touch base with survivors and see how they've coped with the loss and trauma. Isaiah joins us live with now with more. Isaiah?
Yeah, Jihad, hundreds of Marjory Stoneman Douglas students were sitting in a classroom just like this one. Many of them were expecting to head home after the school day. Then, shots rang out, and 17 students never made it. Now the survivors have taken the tragedy and used it as a motivation to bring out their voices and change their generation.
If you're not safe going to school or in your own home or walking down the street, you can't have a childhood. And that's what we're fighting for.
February 14th was a day like any other for Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School students, until 19-year-old Nicholas Cruz opened fire in the freshman building.
Pretty normal day. I think it was second period, yeah. We had a fire drill. It was normal period up until 2:20, 2:25 when the second one went off, and everyone was like a little confused. Some lady, she's an administrator at the bottom of the stairs, was like screaming. She's like run, like start moving, like run, like screaming at us. And we were all like why is this lady screaming at us? Like, what is she doing? Like, someone tell her to stop.
There were cops probably 100, 150 cops, one behind the other going 90 miles per hour down our road with their lights on and like getting out with assault rifles. It's unimaginable.
And at that point, we hear like pop, pop, pop.
17 people died that day. Sons, daughters, parents, and friends, all lost in a school in what many consider one of the safest cities in Florida.
If we weren't safe in schools, how could we feel safe anywhere else? School, you're supposed to go to school and learn, be with your friends, be with your teacher, and now instead of learning how to write essays, we're learning to write eulogies.
One of the victims, Jamie Guttenberg, was Jordana's best friend.
You should never have to speak at your 14-year-old best friend's funeral. And the night that it happened, I just remember sitting in my bed thinking for hours, like, how is this real life?
We were kind of like robbed of our childhood, I guess you could say, and like, especially if you were in that building, like once you go through something like that, like if you were like hearing those gunshots and watching kids, like seeing those images, like I don't understand how you could move on ever.
The tragedy inspired Jordana, Sam, and many others to make a change that started with March for Our Lives.
I mean, really, and if you look back in our country's history, a lot of these movements were created by and led by our youth. The students are unhappy and they're passionate and they have nothing to lose, and they're fighting for their lives.
Everything we're doing is just showing resilience. Everyone out there in politics, they think that we're just kids, but we're not just kids. If all of our voices come together, maybe they'll eventually get the message and finally make a change.
And the change they are asking for is in gun legislature, something that politician Donna Shalala is supporting in her campaign for Congress.
I hope that they're not patient. I was born impatient. That's the way you get things done. You need to be impatient, and you need to yell very loud so that people pay attention. On this issue, we're talking about life or death.
In just 5 weeks, millions of students and adults have gathered all around the world in protest. Many of them are not even teenagers.
I feel like the march helped not just the students, but everyone come together, and it was an important step in kind of riling everybody up to, like, we need to do this now, we need people to go out and vote, we need changes in our country.
Now, Jihad, the students say they will fight for stricter gun regulations and safer schools for as long as it takes to make sure a massacre like Parkland never happens again. I'm Isaiah Kim Martinez. Back to you.
A true example of perseverance. Thank you, Isaiah. Now we've got new details on how the shooter carried out the massacre. Broward County officials released a chilling new animation showing how Nicholas Cruz went through the school during the shooting. Now you'll see a black dot. That's the shooter. The line attached to it represents his AR-15 rifle. The green and blue dots you see turn to yellow represent the students and teachers who were injured. The purple represents the 17 people killed. The animation reveals, contrary to reports, that Cruz never even entered any classrooms to shoot. Cruz shot at the victims in hallways trying to exit the building. He also shot into classrooms but never physically entered the rooms. Cruz is charged with 17 counts of first-degree murder and 17 charges of attempted first-degree murder. Prosecutors plan to seek the death penalty.
Extreme drug use is another epidemic that has plagued American youth, destroying lives and tearing families apart. Thousands of Americans die from opioid abuse every year. Some are strong enough to overcome their addiction, but one man was not as fortunate. His story continues to inspire community members that face their own battle with drugs. In November 2016, 25-year-old Guillermo Salcedo died of a heroin overdose. The severity of his addiction was not known to his family. To honor Guillermo's memory, the Salcedos founded G's Angels, an organization aimed at educating the community about the opioid epidemic. The organization puts together running and walking events to provide support to those struggling with addiction and seeking recovery. When Guillermo died, his younger brother, Roberto, found solace in running. For him, fitness can also be used as a tool to help those struggling with addiction.
Whoever's struggling with whatever substance abuse that they're struggling with, they can always, look towards G's Angels to help them out. I mean, running is something, it's a natural high. Using a different type of substance to get that high, you can run.
Friends, family members, and even those who never met Guillermo are proudly wearing the G's Angel t-shirt in marathons across the country and sharing it on social media. G's Angels hopes to bring educational workshops on drug addiction prevention to schools across South Florida. Guillermo's mother says her driving force is to save a life. From an opioid surplus to an opioid disparity, while the United States is suffering from an opioid epidemic, the rest of the world seems to not have enough to serve those who need it the most. A new study shows nearly 61 million people need opioids for pain relief each year, but only about 15 to 20% actually receive help. Director of the Advanced Institute of the Americas, Dr. Felicia Knoll, recommends the U.S. take measures to strike a balance between the two.
Don't market addictive substances to physicians. Right? You obviously don't market to patients, but this is not an area where any for-profit entity should be pushing to expand the market. This is one where you need to have medically designed, evidence-based guidelines that are managed through public policy and not through any for-profit entity.
visit www.thelancet.com/commissions/palliative-care for a full report and recommendations.
One South Florida woman has found her purpose after going through one of the hardest moments in her life. She's using her own experience to help others. UMTV reporter Maria Kova tells us her story.
Victoria Duran was a high school sophomore when she moved out of her mother's home. She says her mother struggled with alcoholism and repeatedly threatened to kick Victoria out.
Saved up money. I moved into like a little room where I paid like $400. But to get transportation, I had to take the Metro bus. So I didn't have no money for that, so I had to get a second job. My schedule was basically like I wake up at 5.
In this little corner in Western Florida lives Olga Arcila, a beautiful spirit who sheds light on how to be a fighter and warrior towards breast cancer.
I have so many people around me that they really need a support group.
Every Saturday, she invites women to join a cancer support group in her house, where around 15 women attend to find support with each other.
She's a great person. Her kindness, her heart. She's a beautiful person, and I know she's so special to every one of us in this group.
Olga participates in events to raise awareness. She volunteers to go with fighters to their first chemo sessions, shaves their heads, and sews pillows for them.
I do these little pillows is to put it under the arm. After your surgery, you do like 20 or 30 pillows. I have a very nice friend, Vicky. She helps me a lot.
In 2017, she was honored by El Venezolano for making a difference in the Hispanic community.
Why I do all of these things? Because I am a breast cancer survivor.
Olga is a cancer survivor since 2011. One day she felt a lump in her breast, went to the doctor and was diagnosed with breast cancer. At that moment, her challenging process began.
I had my 16 chemos and then I had a reconstruction. You don't know how difficult it is to know that you have cancer. It was a very difficult process.
One of her biggest supporters and who always stood by her side was her husband, Herbert Arcila.
It was tough. I was every single day by her side, and I have the opportunity, or I can say the privilege, to take her to every single biopsy.
Her doctor, Alejandra Perez, or how she calls her angel on earth, helped her throughout the process by giving her hope every step of the way.
Olga was one of those women that took it to war, and from the very first day she has the most amazing attitude, and she fought against this disease with all the courage and all the strength, and she made it.
According to the breast cancer statistics, about 1 in 8 women in the United States will develop invasive breast cancer over the course of her lifetime.
After this process, I have a normal life. I do what I love. I teach Spanish, French, and English.
And in her free time, enjoys spending time nurturing her plants.
My orchids are very special. I go outside, I take care of them, and it's like a therapy for me.
Olga Arcila is a perfect example of a leader, motivator, mother, and friend for all. And in her little corner, she will keep helping others. I am Maria Kova reporting for UMTV.
Really just an inspiration to so many.
Absolutely. It makes you want to go outside and enjoy every moment.
Yeah, it actually makes me want to take a breath of fresh air. But Dave, can we do that this weekend?
I like our chances, especially on the latter half of the weekend. Here are your national temperatures right now. Everybody's in the mid to upper 60s in the northern part of the country as they're finally digging out of winter as it is late April. 68 in Billings, 65 Chicago and Columbus, so they're dealing with some better conditions up there than we were dealing with a couple months ago. Here are local temps. Everybody's in the upper 70s, 80 in Marathon, but it's pretty consistent in the upper 70s. Current winds, everybody's out of the south or southwest, 16 out of the south, southeast, and Lauderdale, and southeast 10. Here in Miami. Coming up in Maine weather, we'll talk about how we could get close to 90 degrees tomorrow, especially with the pretty high humidity values. A chance for rain to start the weekend with yet another cold front, and how you can turn these reading days this weekend into really good beach days. Guys.
Thanks, Dave. I'm for sure hoping for those 90-degree days.
Me too.
You know, it's actually my sister's prom this weekend. I remember when I went to prom without a date.
Makes sense. It's actually prom weekend for many South Florida high schools, so when we come back. making it a night to remember. We'll tell you the story about one UM alumna who's giving high school girls the opportunity to attend prom.
In her
We taught him how to hit a baseball, how to hit a receiver, the strike zone, the net. You taught him how to hit the upper corner. You even taught him how to hit the open man. But how much time have you spent teaching him what not to hit?
As the semester comes to a close, some high school seniors rush to prepare for final exams and college selection, but for one student, her main priority is trying to survive. Our reporter Kelly Saberi joins us now with this inspiring story. Kelly?
According to stats released by USA Today, students around the nation spend on average about $650 on prom night. Some girls have the luxury of finding the perfect dress, but some struggle with finding a home. Students in the foster care system or an unaccompanied minor need a fairy godmother to make their night. Victoria Duran was a high school sophomore when she moved out of her mother's home. She says her mother struggled with alcoholism and repeatedly threatened to kick Victoria out.
Saved up money. I moved into like a little room where I paid like $400, but to get transportation, I had to take the metro bus. So I didn't have no money for that, so I had to get a second job. My schedule was basically like I wake up at 5 in the morning, have to be on the bus by 5:30, get to school by 7, and then after school go straight to work. Don't go home until like 1 o'clock in the morning.
But rent, groceries, and other expenses are not the only things young girls such as Victoria have to worry about. Sooner or later, they are faced with the question of prom night and all that comes with it. Hair, makeup, accessories, shoes, and of course, the perfect dress. Enter Miss Esquire, a professional association for female attorneys aimed at empowering women and underprivileged youth. The group has made a promise to help girls like Victoria feel their best at prom for free. There are 6,000 minors who are either in the foster care system or homeless in Broward County and 8,000 in Miami-Dade County. Thanks to groups like Miss Esquire, less fortunate girls will have the opportunity to find a prom dress just like this one. This is what I wore 4 years ago, and hopefully somebody will take it home tonight.
Today Project was the first time we've ever done it. It's called Project Promise. Try to get girls to come from the community that are in these situations that couldn't otherwise afford a dress. And so we had dresses donated from tons of different girls all over the nation. And
more than 100 girls from Broward County came to pick their prom dresses out of more than 300 gently used dresses. Some volunteers saw girls fall in love with the dresses they donated just like they once did.
We give to those that are less fortunate, that don't have the ability to go out and buy dresses for prom and like different, dances that we have once a year that you're gonna wear for one time and then end up in the back of your closet.
And although not every one of these girls has families in the picture, some of their teachers were there to support them. But finding the perfect dress is just the first step. Miss Esquire paid for Victoria's prom ticket and a hair and makeup team to complete her look.
Do you like it?
I like it. I have never done my makeup, so.
Victoria said she had a great night at her prom. Now she looks forward to graduation. Although she doesn't have set plans just yet, she hopes to eventually go to school in Chicago for religious studies. I'm Kelly Saberi. Now back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Kelly. Miami is known for beach bodies and nightlife, but for many college students, the pressures for perfection cause the creation of a monster inside. An estimated 2 million women suffer from anorexia nervosa in their lifetime. Anorexia nervosa is characterized by weight loss, lack of appropriate weight gain, and distorted body image. One University of Miami student battled through the illness with the help from her sorority sisters.
Having food, having energy, that's what gets you through the day. That's what keeps you going. I'm able to show my personality now more, and I've met so many important people in my life that were just not present when I was struggling.
The Delta Phi Epsilon Women's Fraternity focuses on raising awareness and money for anorexia and associated disorders. On a university counseling level, students like Danielle, suffering from an eating disorder who seek help, are given a range of options to help combat the illness. Patients can choose to attend dance therapy, classes, and go to food court to learn how to choose food in a healthy manner. Students suffering from any mental illness should contact the UM Counseling Center at 305-284-5511.
You know, it's great to see student organizations get involved on campus and really make a difference.
Absolutely, and we've still got a lot here on NewsVision, so when we come back.
I'm breaking world records in my weight class.
A journey of determination and focus.
People didn't think that could be achieved.
To be the best in the world, a journey of determination and focus for one Miami native. Coming up next.
You taught him how to hit a baseball, how to hit a receiver, the strike zone, the net. You taught him how to hit the upper corner. I'm coming. You even taught him how to hit the open man. But how much time have you spent teaching him what not to hit?
Thanks for staying with us here on NewsVision. I'm your meteorologist, Dave Downey, here once again. 79 degrees currently here in Coral Gables. Dew point value at 68, making it feels like 81 degrees. That will kick up at least 8 degrees tomorrow, with the wind still working out of the southeast at 10 miles per hour. National radar, the only system going on right now is this little cold front just east of the Atlanta metro area as we take a closer look at that. Nothing severe on it. Some strong storms right there dropping a good amount of rain, but down here in Miami, there's nothing to worry about. I'm sure if you're outside today. Everything you're seeing here is ground clutter. We had a little cell up here earlier in northern Broward County, but nothing to worry about right now. Drought monitor, we need some of that rain right here in southern Collier to here in Miami-Dade County. We're under a severe drought. So any rain we can get as we are approaching the rain season, we need and we would like to get. Here's your go forecast for tonight. If you do not have any exams tomorrow, 71 degrees, mostly clear, a little sticky, winds light and variable. So anything that, if it is sticky, those light and variable winds will make it even worse with none of that air really moving around. Tomorrow's forecast, 88, hot and humid, August-like to a degree. Winds out of the south between 5 and 10 miles per hour. Here's your futurecast. There's that low pressure system we talked about earlier. We'll stop it here Friday night, 7:30 p.m. There's a cold front coming through, some rain. I'm thinking we're going to get a little bit of a shower Friday night, and we turn it forward. That cold front clears out, makes its way for a very nice weekend, and a big high pressure system will work in. Sunny skies and an easterly sea breeze will work in for the early part of next week. There it is, breezy conditions. Got to say it twice for magnification there. Thursday and next Wednesday as well. So pretty consistent temperatures after we get this cold front in the low 80s as the average high this time of year is in the low 80s with consistent lows in the lower 70s as well. Guys, what's going on in sports?
Well, Dave, I actually hope it doesn't rain this week. I'm trying to get that beach workout. I hope I don't rip my jacket, you know.
Oh, you work out? Are you sure?
Yeah, are you kidding me, kid? I see Jihad at the gym all the time pumping that iron.
Oh, all right, if you say so.
Yeah.
But Josh, I think you know someone, correct me if I'm wrong, who's stronger than all of us.
Oh, absolutely. This is an athlete that can take us all down with one hand. Lifting is a lifestyle, especially for this Miami native. Her goal, become the strongest person in the world. Sounds simple, right? UMTV reporter Javier Perez tells us more.
Located in the heart of Wynwood, Hybrid Performance Method Gym features some of the strongest athletes Miami has ever seen. This weightlifting facility specializes in training people to break their own barriers, but co-owner Stephanie Cohen has gone even further. Even though she knows it exists, she still hasn't found her limit.
I'm breaking world records in my weight class that people didn't think that could be achieved. So what that limit is, we don't know.
But she's trying to find out. Stephanie has her sights set on becoming the strongest athlete to ever walk the planet, regardless of gender. Gym co-owner Hayden thinks that what Stephanie's doing is more than lifting weights.
I think it's really tough for women to gain a lot of ground just based on knowledge and performance without being objectified. So the fact that she's able to do that is a pretty big deal.
For Stephanie, gender inequality has never been part of her journey.
Even from the time where I used to play soccer, I never felt like there was any sort of inequality as far as opportunities or as far as the way that people perceived me. I always let my talents speak for myself and not let the opinion of anyone else kind of get in the way.
The fact is that Stephanie has broken 11 world records in powerlifting. At around 123 pounds body weight, she can deadlift more than 4 times her weight and has competed at some of the most important meets in the sport. It takes a special kind of mindset to achieve what she has.
It's more of a matter of creating habits and just not letting anything interfere with what you have to do on that day, because to me, coming into the gym is not about feeling great, it's about getting a certain task done.
And on this simple sheet of paper, she has written down her next task: to be number 1. Reporting for UMTV, Javier Perez Fernandez.
All right, I'm pretty impressed, but come on, I definitely can lift that much, no doubt.
Jihad, I don't even think you lift the bar with marshmallows on it.
Well, let's try it. Let's all go against each other. I can take both of you, trust me.
Yeah, we'll see, I guess.
All right, we'll practice during the break. We'll be right back.
Hi, may I please have an application? Thank you.
Skip the drama. Get your diploma.
Okay.
Take that first step towards a better future. Find free adult education classes at finishyourdiploma.org.
You know, Jihad, we have some crazy fans here at the University of Miami.
That's right, Kate, but there is one fan who grew up a die-hard Canes fan, is now a student here, but he battles a deadly disease every day. Our sports reporter Luis Gonzalez joins us live to tell us more. Luis?
David Klein's a resident assistant, a member of the Rock Climbing Club, and one of the University of Miami's biggest fans. But what many don't know about this rising +1 senior is that he has another scholarship that made his life dream come true.
My college decision process was if I don't go to UM, then I don't know what I'm going to do.
I don't think I know anyone who's a larger fan than David.
The love for the U radiates off of him and bounces right back off of you.
I was very obnoxious. I grew up in a Catholic school, so I wasn't able to wear UM jerseys every day, but if I could, I would.
David Klein's love for the University of Miami started back when he was 7 years old at his first football game in the Orange Bowl. But his love for this U extends way beyond what he sees on the field.
And luckily, the stars aligned. I got into UM. They were generous enough to give me a pretty nice scholarship. And also, I got some external help as well from the Make-A-Wish Foundation. And without all that help from everywhere, I wouldn't be where I am today. And it's a huge blessing.
With David's one wish, he wanted something that was true to him.
When I was growing up, I always knew I had a wish. You know, I love a luxurious vacation as much as the next guy, but, you know, I felt like I could put my wish to better use. And I decided, what if I could use my Make-A-Wish to make a dream of mine come true? And that was to attend UM.
But what most people don't know is that David suffers from a difficult health condition.
So I have cystic fibrosis. It requires a lot of self-maintenance, taking my medications every morning, every evening, making sure that I do my respiratory therapy every morning and every evening.
Cystic fibrosis builds thick mucus in the body, blocking David's lungs and digestive system.
Some days you just wake up, and I think the best description for it is that, you know, you feel like, you know, as someone is like sitting on your chest, like, and you feel your airways like a lot more constricted than usual.
Knowing that he is going through this and how much he values just being here and being a Miami Hurricane inspires me to not take things for granted.
Okay, so what are we going to do with all right, so we'll just need that.
Everywhere you look, there's just the spirit of the U, and it's infectious, and it just makes you want to be something more.
David's love for the U started with the legends at the Orange Bowl, but now it will stay in a sea of orange and green. Luis Gonzalez, UMTV.
You know, it's amazing to see the bright future of UM students, especially as a graduating senior.
You're telling me, Kate. I can't believe we both graduate in less than 2 weeks. It's been a ride.
I know. It's really bittersweet, but we're so fortunate to be surrounded by the crew we have here at NewsVision.
Yeah, and you know, a big thank you to our executive producers, Amanda, Kelly, Rebecca, Professor Treadwell, Professor Green. You guys are the best. Everyone else, have a good night. We went over. Are we redoing?